Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Friday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. I'm Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick on this show today. Earnings, jobs number, and we got a lot of trades to discuss from the after-hours session and pre-market session this morning. So let's just jump right into it, Joel. How are we doing in the S&Ps?
Trading in the green by 3.5, 12 consecutive closes now in the 68 to 74 range, now knocking on the door of four highs here up to 77.25. But we'll just give you the all-time high at 24.80.5 as a target on the upside. We have crude in the red here by 20 cents at 48.83. Let's take a look at the crude. Recovery from the midweek decline back over 50, but still running into trouble, psychological $50 level. And gold and silver, kind of mixed. You have gold in the red by 70 cents and silver up 7 pennies here. So here we are on the jobs number Friday. How you doing there, Dennis?
That snuck up on us, that jobs number here.
It absolutely did. And
I didn't even cross my mind until you just mentioned it. That's why we listen to the pre-market prep show. You know, even me, I'm grabbing some information there. I didn't realize. I totally forgot about the jobs number, although they've been lackluster.
Exactly.
Lately. I mean, none of these numbers really move, so the traders don't even have them in focus anymore. We got to, look at stuff like fast money to get better investment stuff going on, which we'll get to in a second. But how's it going?
Good. I got a visitor. My buddy Ira's in from Bath, Maine. And how do you like? I have a visitor, and I wake him up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go swimming. Aren't I a heck of a host?
Yeah. Did you beat him did you race him too? And beat
I
him?
didn't. Everyone wants to race me tonight at the Benzinga party, but I'm trying to. I forgot about the one young kid that's only a junior in college that was a swimmer in high school. So I'll have to. I forgot about Ezra, how good of a swimmer he was. In Brentster too. He got to work on his stroke a little bit. But anyways, we're up here near the highs of the session. Dennis, I know you want to talk about GWPH first. So we'll just.
Okay. So here, and this is, it's a stock, and I don't even mind the chart here. But last night on Fast Money, and this is just going to show you how much influence these guys have on fast money. I mean, they're almost more influential, it seems like, than the big guns like Carl Icahn. Anyways, last night, watching fast money, you have to watch it because they move stocks. Guy Adami pumps GWPH. The stock's trading at 110.95. It starts going 111, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118 it traded up to last night because Guy Adami was, bullish the stock. They all talk about on the desk for 5 minutes or so, and then at the end, and then they decide whether they let people decide whether they want to go with it or not. They didn't even want the people who responded didn't even want to go with Guy Adami. Yet the stock is still trading up 5.8% here this morning. Believe me, this is the catalyst. I watched it at the time. I was shocked. Like if somebody came in, they would never believe that a stock gets mentioned on Fast Money can jump 6%. It did. Guy Adami, you are a mover and a shaker. There is no doubt about you if you were listening to the show, because that's an incredible move for somebody just mentioning a stock positively. And I think he did mention, and I didn't hear the whole piece. Somebody said he mentioned that it could get taken over for $200 or $300. So maybe that's really when people get excited when you hear stuff like that. But come on, it's not like a real rumor. He's just saying it's an opinion. It's an opinion from a TV personality on CNBC, and the stock was up 6% on that. I don't know. So anyways.
No bots, can you, that has to be human trading then, Dennis, right? And that's
totally human. That's nothing to do with bots.
Okay.
That's all retail traders and people listening to Fast Money going out there after hours and buying it. And it's thin. The things are thin after hours. Like there was only like 100 shares available in the first 3 handles. So things move then when they're doing stuff when there's no liquidity. If that was during the regular trading session I was saying that, the stock would probably move a buck. But because it's during after hours, there's no liquidity, stock can move 6 points. So anyways, I've seen this story before a lot of times. Sometimes these things have follow through, and sometimes they continue, it gets the boat and people are excited it's up 5% this morning. So it could get the ball rolling here, but there's some resistance up here it's coming into. So full disclosure, I am short GWPH just for a day trade. Just because I think it went up too much on what was said on CNBC last night.
All right, trade. Good. I'm just going to give the level on the upside, 118.10. And then you notice how it went up to that on that first bracket. And that's a good level. You had a high of 118.15 in the pre-market. And then also you
after hours. That was after hours.
I'm sorry. I stand corrected. And then I see a trio of highs in the 117 handle. This is back at the end of July. So there's your resistance.
I think that holds. My opinion, that holds. So that's why
it's only 70 cents away from there, but you are running into a little bit of resistance ahead of that, the 117.50 area. So we'll keep an eye on that. I mean, if you're going to be active in the after hours, and we won't tell you often to watch CNBC, but there is a time where
they do move stocks on fast money. And, like if you were to say, and somebody else was to come on, an analyst, and upgrade the stock, would it be up 6% today? That's my question. If it got an actual upgrade, I don't think it would even be up 6%. So Guy Adami all of a sudden is more influential than, these analysts get paid to cover the company. So it seems insane to me that a stock can go up that much on it. But, that's, my opinion. I mean, it can continue. Like stuff like this can happen. We see it all the time. Sometimes the thinner ones do continue, but there's just no doubt about it that they are influential on fast money. They mention a stock and it goes. And you'll go into markets like when you're in a bear market, and most people, newer traders haven't experienced that. CNBC has no influence at all. But when you're in these full-on bull markets, people are hungry for stocks. They're sitting there watching the fast money. They're all excited because they're making money, obviously, on their investment portfolio, and they're looking for ideas. And somebody says something like that, and they say, they pump and say, oh, it might get taken over for $200. The traders go out there after hours and buy it right away. But is it a real substantial rumor because Guy Adami thought so?
Nope.
I don't think so. That's why I fade it.
All right, well, use the opportunity. If you're fair long to use this opportunity, maybe to exit. Dennis has his opinion, so we'll see.
J-Trade here saying no, retail doesn't move stock like that. No, during the day, agree with you, J-Trade. But you got to understand something, how thin stocks are after hours. Look at the first. Can you see the initial prints, Joel? Like in the first bar, I believe there was only like 100 shares offered at 112, and then the next 100 was like 115. There's just nothing there. There's nothing in there. So some, small little guy with $30,000 to his name can move the stock up 4 points right after hours. That's the one thing about after hours trading is that everything becomes thin, unless a Bank America or something. There's a few exceptions to the rule, but 90% of your stocks that are thick during the regular session are thin after hours. So you have to be very careful when you trade after hours too. Just don't randomly go and buy stuff and sell stuff. We talk about that all the time on the show because you'll see something trading up on really light volume. And we're like, okay, well, when the real liquidity comes in here at 9:30, can it open that high or can it go that high? That's what you have to consider. So, but definitely, during the day, I'll say retail can't move GWPH up 6 points. After hours, they can, and they did last night.
All right. I just want to reiterate, just going back, I didn't know if I touched on it in the S&Ps. We had our 12th consecutive close between 24.68 and 24.74, trying to bust out of that consolidation area. I can show you here that's a 15-minute chart. We're going on in the daily chart. Here we are, long sleepy period of consolidation. And if you're in a bull market and you have consolidation to move higher, that's how the S&Ps are acting today, up 375 before the big jobs number. But we had some earnings last night and this morning here to end the week.
We did, and we've got some major movement here. Where do you want to go? So we have Yelp, which is trading up substantially. GoPro's trading up substantially. Viacom's getting smacked around. Weight Watchers continues to gain weight there, and the stock's trading up another $5.
Oh, no way.
Where do you want to go?
Weight Watchers.
Let's go to Weight Watchers, the stock that Oprah took out of the gutter and turned this whole company around. It was $6 when Oprah came out. And when was that? Let's go to the timeline here.
That was October 2015. I remember because that was right around the time
October 2015. It was $6. Oprah said, she's taken, and she's going to be the promotion behind Weight Watchers. And the stock went in the next couple of weeks up to $27. We know after that, it leaked. In 2016, I had a rough time, came all the way back down to 10 and hung out forever. I don't know what's happened in the last 4 months, but this stock has just blasted off into orbit. They think Weight Watchers is changing the whole world here now, because in 2017, it started the year $11. The stock's $38 now. It's tripled here. This has got to be one of the best performers, of all the stocks this year. I mean, we're 7 months in, the stock's up threefold here. It's up another 16% here this morning. Shorts run over if you short the stock. They're run over here again this morning. One thing I will say is there is a large level looming large on this. $40 is absolutely enormous. It did trade through it last night briefly and then cut back down. I'm thinking that could be the level that could hold this.
Here's the number real quick. 67 cents versus 51 cents. Sales of 341 versus $329 million, but they're raising their EPS guidance for the fiscal year. It was $1.40 to $1.50. Now it's $1.57 to $1.67. So they're really raised it.
And, you can't argue with the numbers. The numbers are good. We say they often have to blow it away for the stock to go higher when it's had an incredible run. Well, it did. And not only that, it actually leaked a little bit ahead of the report. It was down $6 in the last week and a half. So now they blow it away and the stock goes higher. So not surprising that's challenging those highs. I just wonder if it's going to hold.
Wow. In July, we hit 39.71. So we're below that level now. Pre-market high, 40.84. I mean, I still put some significance on that 39.71 to 40 area. You are moving up $5. This is not a real heavily traded stock, and I don't know how much is traded yet here in the pre-market. You do have
it traded quite a bit last night and 28,000 already this morning. So it is trading.
Yeah. I mean, use 39.71 as your first target, and then see if you can get 40.84. See if there's any paper. This is a New York stock, so you could see some paper at 40. Maybe there's some big orders down there. Watch, Dennis. I know you like to watch where something's trading in the pre-market. If it's trading at 38.5, and all of a sudden it opens, a lot lower. Sometimes, the designated market can scoop up stock at cheap off the open, but nice if you're holding WTW.
The other one here that I wanted to talk about was GoPro. If you're taking, and we talked about this a lot too, Fitbit and GoPro seem to go together. And, they're nothing to do with each other, but they're both one-trick ponies. And Fitbit had a good report, got the big pop. Well, GoPro follows suit last night, and it is getting an absolutely enormous pop. The Fitbit pop went from 5 to 584. That's a good pop. That's like 15%. Well, GoPro here, right there, 15% here up on the earnings report. So very much following suit. A 960. I'm kind of kicking myself on the GoPro because I wanted to buy it at the open yesterday because of the Fitbit, and I forgot about it. I just got sidetracked with all the other stuff that I had. And it opened right at the low at 805 and went straight up. And then obviously closed at 826. But then, the big move here comes after hours with the report. Spencer, give us the details.
They see for Q2, they had a 9-cent loss on the EPS. 25-cent loss was the estimate. So much better than that. Sales of $296.5 versus $269.6 million. So they beat the sales number by quite a bit there. Q3 adjusted EPS guidance coming in higher as well for the EPS and for the sales.
One thing I will say, overhead supply. Now, could this have a little squeeze today? Yeah, apparently it's already up 16%. Coming into big whole numbers like $10. Joel, what's the after hours high?
9.78, and
a little ways away.
Yeah, a little ways away. Your February 3rd high, 9.85. So there's your zone. You are 20, 30 cents below that. Also, psychological level getting into double digits. But this has been a long, sleepy phase here. Now, if in fact you can get into that $10 handle, you got a gap here to fill, and it's pretty considerable, up to 10.59. So let's see what happens. I mean, there's got to be a lot of people waiting to get out at double digits.
Yeah.
985 pre-market high. 985 was the high that you had when it gapped down. That must have been off earnings. That was your February 3rd high. So nice target here if you're long this thing. And I just wanted to mention about the Fitbit, and I was looking at this afterwards. Did you see where it came down to right before the report? They sold it off 5 days in a row, and it closed
right to
at
the 5 number.
Yeah. It just
on the kisser.
Yep. And it just seems like there's just like someone's just like, hey, I'm willing to buy all the stock I can between 5 and 5.10. And that's the way it has, a 490 all-time low. But boy, oh boy, someone really successfully defended that stock at $5. GoPro, we'll see if it can get in double digits.
Yeah, and those numbers come into play. I mean, that's where securities stop becoming marginable at a lot of brokers. When they get over 5, they become marginable again. That's why 5s always, and that's where a lot of strikes are too for your, your options expirations as well. So it's always something to consider. So those big whole numbers just seem to work. I know it sounds simple, but from my experience, I've always went, the simple strategies always seem to work fairly well for me. Jumping over to Viacom, this is a disaster. Full disclosure, I got the pair on. I'm long VIAB, short VIA in equivalent amounts, so I'm actually basically net neutral to stock. But anyways, Viacom here trading down 10%. This traded up on the initial report, and I actually shorted some up there, but I couldn't get more. I was trying to get more, and it was just really thin. And then, it just caved in and just started going down, down, down. Why did I short it on? Okay, well, give us a number, Spencer. I'll tell you a story.
I am looking forward in my pro, and I am VIA or VIAB, I guess.
You can grab either one.
All right, well, VIA, all right, I got it. $1.17 versus $1.05. Sales of 3.36 versus $3.29 billion.
Did they say something on the call? I believe something was said on the call because the stock was kind of hanging out at flat and then it just started getting killed.
I don't know.
I'm going to try to jump in and see what I can find too. I believe something was said on the call. But anyway, so stock's trading up a couple bucks. I'm like, you know what? It's so hated. They're probably going to be sellers that come in. That's why I wanted to short it. I got a little piece off and I was trying to get more, but it was just too thin. And then I had to I started shorting it on the way down and then I hedged myself with the VIAB. So I'm all hedged up, but I had a nice trade on. So, and I've still got it on. I'm hedged. I got to take it off here eventually. But those are, I usually take it off when I got the liquidity when it's hard to take something off in the pre-market when you've got the pair on. But once the liquidity comes in, say 10 o'clock, it's easier to take off. So sometimes I just wait till liquidity comes in to naturally take it off. We've also got Atlantic downgrading today, chasing price, obviously, to underweight. They're putting a price target of $30 on Viacom here. Just trying to see. There was a whole bunch of headlines. There's a million headlines there. But anyway, something was said on the call, too, that they didn't like. And stock, obviously, trading down significantly here. This is like near 10-year lows, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Nah, not quite 10. 7-year lows. This one we were talking about on the dailies when they were talking about getting involved with Discovery, right? Or with who was up for sale? Scripps. And we're like, holy mackerel, man, your company's not in good shape. I think you might have talked about the debt. Taking out the low of the move, which was 32.68. So believe it or not, that could be some minor resistance. Pre-market low, we are right off the pre-market low of 31.63. 31.80 was your last print. I mean, you could get a continued flush off the open, but I think if you get into the lower 30 handle, you had 2 monthly lows at 30.24 and 30.39 back from August and September of 2010. So 7-year lows. So if, in fact, we could take out that pre-market low, keep an eye on that. I just want to mention, yesterday when I said, I couldn't find any support in Teva. Well, there wasn't any support in Teva, and that thing just kept
going. It just kept going down.
Yeah.
We'll go to Teva in a second because I want to talk that stock too. And obviously when they're cutting the dividend, we know they kill those. But great question coming from Jimmy A here in the chat. Why is the A, so VIA, trading so much higher than the VIAB? I ask myself that question almost every day. I've got a lot of experience trading Viacom. I'll tell you something. In 2003, remember, Joel? I think it was 2003 or 2004. I exclusively traded Viacom. I became a Viacom A versus Viacom B trader, just trading them against each other. And I traded so much Viacom, VIA, that at one point, I was doing 10% of the volume a day on Viacom. So you can tell, I was really trading Viacom a lot. And I was trading them against each other. And I used to always just say, whenever the VIA would get below the VIAB, I would automatically buy it because the VIA has voting rights. The VIAB doesn't have any voting rights. Now, they used to always trade within like a nickel or a dime of each other, sometimes 20 cents. It'd get out a little bit more. But, if the VIA ever got under the VIAB, I would always buy it and short the equivalent amount of VIAB because I'm getting the same company, but I'm getting the voting rights as well. So I'm like getting even a vote for free. So that's, back in the day. I have no idea why they put so much, more premium on the voting rights now. Maybe it's because Redstone, maybe there's all kinds of other things going on there. But for years now, VIA has traded substantially above VIAB. They still hold percentage-wise, but the spread now between them, you can see VIA closed at 41.20, VIAB closed at 35.07. So you're talking a 6-point difference there between them for voting rights. So I don't get it. and I don't trade Viacom exclusively anymore, and I don't focus on it. So that's probably, maybe if I research a little bit further, maybe there's a reason behind that. But the basic difference between the two is just voting rights.
All right, 36.40. That's your pre-market low. In the VIA, bounce it up at 37.55. So they're both getting hit a similar amount, but Dennis pointing out that discrepancy. Let's go to a longer-term chart. That same area, let's go back to 2010 in VIA and just get a corresponding level. But yeah, did the specialist used to consult you when he was opening that stock?
You think so? I had a lot of stock on always. The VIAB was more liquid, but the VIA itself, I would do about 10% of the volume on that one.
30,
so, and I think there was a couple other traders like in the firm, like or around, like I didn't know them, but I think there was a couple other traders doing similar stuff. So like between, 3 or 4 guys doing the arbitrage between the VIA and VIAB, we probably were pumping 30-40% of the volume. It's crazy. But now I hardly trade it because the bots got the spread pretty good now.
Okay, that level that we talked about at 30 in VIAB corresponds in the A to the $34 level. So keep an eye on that. All right, we got about 8 minutes to the number, Dennis, and you're going to want to hop off in about 6 or 7. So let's
trade the 1 point movement in the S&P.
Yes, sir.
GW Pharma 115 here now, so it is coming in a little bit. So
okay.
I mean, maybe people woke up and said, "What? Guy Dummy's the catalyst here." Jumping back over to earnings here. The Shake Shack, baby. Da, 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 da. Anyways, I won't sing to you. Shake Shack, give us the earnings, Spencer.
Yeah, this was not good. So Q2 EPS 20 cents versus 16 cents. Good number. Sales 91.3 versus 89.5. So that's good number 2. But comps were down about 2%, 1.8% to be exact, and they did blame it actually on rain, because a lot of their seating is outdoors and there was more rainy days in the Northeast this year than last year. So they actually blamed their weak comps on more rain. So.
But no one got sick from their food, so that's
true.
That's a good thing. We should.
You want me to tell that story here from this morning? So here's how my morning started. Anyway, so kids up early at 6:30. I've got the kids solo this week, so I got to take them to daycare. My daycare doesn't open until 7:30. Well, we were up early, so we're like, you know what? 7 a.m. We'll go to Tim Hortons and get a donut. So, I drive through the drive-through and I give them the donut in the car. And as I'm handing them the donut, my boy Spencer says to me, it needs 3.
Dennis, you still with us? That was an odd transition, Joel. We weren't really even talking about that.
I know. What happened to Dennis?
I'm not sure. I think he's here. I know his Skype has been acting a little bit buggy for the past couple of days.
Oh, and he thinks he's telling this story, and he's not.
Yeah, Dennis. If you can hear me, well, then you know that I can't hear you. But Joel, why don't you give us some levels in Shack while we get Dennis back?
Okay, yeah. All right, Shake Shack here. I was going to say we should use the that indicator of the line outside the place, because it was really huge at the beginning and then it kind of dissipated here in the Motor City. You made a pre-market low at 31.25. You're getting a little bounce back up into the $33 area. Let's just keep an eye. The low of the move that you had in March was in the 30 handle, the 31.25 low on March 17th. And then you could see the parallels at 30.36, which marked the move, and 30.70 here. So I don't know. We got a nice bounce off that pre-market low unchanged. We'll definitely want to keep an eye unchanged on the session, because you got a nice rebound, and 32.84 and 32.85 were the lows from the last 2 sessions.
Well, Dennis lost power, Joel.
You're kidding me.
This is what happened. He's coming back online. We'll get him back in a minute, but he did lose power. This is what happens when you live in Canada. You just lose power randomly.
Did he come back?
Yeah, he's getting it back. I think he just had a surge, but he's getting it back right now. So 5 minutes before the number, Joel, I saw you brought up ADP on the chart before Shake Shack, and you brought them up. This is interesting. So we saw that report. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? That Ackman was pursuing or had a stake in ADP. Now we're getting confirmation of that. And not only does he have a stake, he's seeking control of the company. ADP said that Pershing Square is seeking control. Pershing Square wants 5 seats on the 10-seat board and a CEO change. Ackman's Pershing owns about 8% of the company, largely in derivatives. So Ackman is putting his foot down here.
Yeah, now he's trying to get it back to where it was. It made a new all-time high. That was a couple days after the initial news came out. You had a spike to 120 even. All-time high is 121.77. But now off this news of his taking an activist stake, you're not even getting back to that area again. 115.75 is your pre-market high. I'm keeping an eye on that because your 2-day high is 116.44. So just take a look at your daily highs there, 1644, 1938, 2177, the all-time high, and just be cognizant that it's not getting the same, it's not even getting to the same level, near the same level it was when he announced his stake. So, these guys, they know what they're doing. They want to get in the boards. I don't know how it's going to work out here for Mr. Ackman. But right now, someone seems to have an opinion here, right at the 115 area, not letting it go any higher for now.
All right, let's grab another earnings report before we get Dennis back. Let's do Yelp. This is one that I got. I got bearish on there for a while, and what do I know? So Q2 adjusted EPS 25 cents versus a 3-cent loss estimate sales of 208.9 versus $204.93 million. So they beat on the sales and they beat a lot on the EPS.
Gap into a gap area, up nearly 20%, $6.23, trading at 37.60. I keep an eye on that. I keep an eye on 38 as well here. Let's go to your daily charts. This volatile thing here. You've already gapped through this area. Now you're getting back. I'll give you a daily high that I'm going to keep an eye on. And the daily high is 38.42 from February 10th. You haven't reached that level yet, so we'll keep an eye on 38.42. After that, you get in a big gap, but kind of resting here right near the highs of the session. 37.81 has played some nice volume, but what a dysfunctional chart. Gap down here, long period, gap down. Actually, I don't know if that was on an earnings day where it made the low, and now gapping up to here. Hands off from me on Yelp. All right, 8:28 here.
Yeah, we got like 2 minutes till the number. I'm not even sure if Dennis wants to come on before that, because he'll hop off anyway and trade.
Is he back on Skype?
He's back on, but I think he wants to stay off and trade the number. Yeah. So we'll get him off. We'll get him on after the number comes out. We're just about 2 minutes away from that.
Got a preview?
I'll give you the numbers, the expectations real quick. We're looking at non-farm at 183,000, private at 178,000 jobs, and we're looking at unemployment down to 4.3%. So that's what we're looking for right now. 183, 178, and 4.3% non-farm, private, and unemployment. That's the expectation. We'll see what comes up.
All right, we are 1 minute and 15 seconds away. So let's think. Do we have any stocks in the chat here to cover, or do we want?
I see Alta from Downward Dog.
Downward Dog. Okay, we were just talking about how he pretty good humor from that guy, but we'll see what Alta's doing. Whew, we've had a major sell-off in that thing from 315 to under 250. Let me look at the pre-market trading. Not much happening here. I don't know if when it has earnings, so I'll just go daily chart here. And 243.28, if you're trying to swing trade here, that was the low of the move. Double bottom here in Alta, if you're looking to be a bottom picker ahead of that recent low of the move. Last 2 sessions, matching's low and the lower 246 handle, but only down 3 cents here. 2-day high, 55.35 and 57.06. We are 20 seconds away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the S&P chart, and I'm going to go to the minute chart here and see what we got. We'll make it a little bit bigger so we can see if we get some good trading action. We know the all-time high is 80.50. 2 minutes here, or 2 seconds. Here's the number.
Not seeing it through yet. 209. Whoa, 209 in the non-farm. Again, 183 was the estimate for that. So 209 blew it away. 205 for private. Again, 178 was the estimate. So again, blowing it away. And 4.3, they nailed the estimate on unemployment. So they crushed it, Joel. Great month.
This is the least movement I've ever seen on a jobs number. We're about to move a point and a quarter. Now we're starting to move up here. So they like the number. 75.75 is your pre-market high. We have moved about $1 here. So what'd you say?
Check out gold.
Oh, gold's getting hit. Down $6, so they don't like that number for the precious metals. Silver getting hit, not as much as gold. Gold's down a 0.5 percentage point. Might be too early to call Dennis here. He might be.
I think. Well, you said there was no movement, so I was thinking that he's gonna not be.
Well, does he have power back?
Yeah, he has power.
Okay.
He has power.
All right. Well, no, let's just finish up here. What time do we have Todd Gordon coming up?
We got Todd hopping on in. Actually, Todd is here. He is. He's listening to the show right now. He is in our meeting. So let me actually go grab. We can bring Todd on whenever because he's on. So
okay.
You want me to go do that? All right. So our guest today, folks, is a good one. Todd Gordon. He is the founder of a site called tradinganalysis.com. He's also a frequent CNBC contributor, and he's a technicals guy. So we like Todd because he's got charts, and he's going to show us his charts actually in a moment. So Todd, can you hear us?
Hey guys, what's going on? Good morning.
Good morning. How's the morning going for you?
Well, I was all excited for non-farm payroll, and then I remembered that it doesn't matter anymore. Let's see. You guys still?
Sorry about that, Todd.
Okay, no problem.
Yep. Dennis, you with us?
Yeah, I'm in the background. We got Todd early?
We got Todd early. So Todd.
Oh, Todd, you're the savior. My power outage here.
Oh boy.
And you know what? I know something that's really awesome. This is how much I love Microsoft. So I just got back, I was up at my cabin. I just got back this week and I haven't really restarted my computer yet.
Right.
So power goes out and Microsoft says, hey, we got a restart on this computer. Let's use this opportunity to do updates. So I'm sitting here on my
25-minute jobs.
Through a jobs number, watching Windows 10 do updates for me. Isn't that lovely, Microsoft? Thank you so much, Microsoft. Todd, what do you think of Microsoft stock?
Actually, I think I was looking at it last night. It is a little overbought, but I'll tell you what, like as much as we want to complain, I tried to make the move to Apple, trading on Apple full time, and I gave it 6 months. I just couldn't do it. So I went back. So I'm just going to not complain about Microsoft and just deal with its inequity. Just deal with it.
Well, taking a look at the chart, Dennis just mentioned Microsoft there, and you talked about Apple. Let's talk about Apple here. After going into the report, and then after the report here, you hit 160 in pre-market trading on that day, and it's going down, but it's nothing to really get too excited about. 159.75. That was the high on the day of the report. Backing and filling here, Todd, you think Apple can get back down here to fill the gap?
I got to tell you, I had some option flies on, some butterflies on that had a bearish bias into it. And I've kind of been looking at the loss of uptrend in tech, and that's what Apple earnings was quite a surprise. So I think, all of a sudden Apple went from a laggard over the last couple of months to kind of a leader in the tech space, because I still think that's pretty consistently the theme that a lot of tech has lost the uptrend. We're well off the highs in many of the large cap tech. So Apple is kind of all of a sudden the anomaly for me. So if tech and the overall market can find some support here, I think you got to buy the pullback. So no, I don't think they close the gap, because also as a corollary, I do think the stock market will begin to find some support here and push higher. I think there's one more kind of push up in the S&P and the NASDAQ, and I think Apple might be your trader.
Hey, Todd, you want to actually throw your charts up on our screen so we can see what you're looking at in your setup?
Sure. Let's see here. I have not done Zoom, so let me just see here. How do I?
There should be a green button at the bottom of share screen, and you can just kind of pull your chart up, and I'll let you know when I'm seeing your screen. But we're on with Todd Gordon again. TradingAnalysis.com is his site. Frequent CNBC contributor, and he's trading. Todd, are you a pre-market after hours trader, or are you mostly trading during when the market's open?
Yeah, no, I'm mostly trading when the market's open. I'm trading mostly the options market in here. So, so yeah, just kind of focus there. And a lot of, why are you guys pretty active in the pre-market? Do you find most of your viewers are trading around in there or in the normal session?
They do a little bit of both. I think they, like to observe the price action, many of them, and, in the pre-market. Dennis is, likes to be very active in it, experienced doing it. But, a lot of times, we use it for information, but you know what? We are now looking at your chart. Can you tell us what you got up there? And you know what? I like it. It's pretty clean. Todd, tell us what you got up there, what your indicators are, and how you implement them.
Yeah. So I've just been trained in for my trading career. I guess, I've been doing it since not too long, since 2002. And, I've kind of gravitated towards more of a swing trading mentality. I started out as a short-term day trader, and over the last decade and a half, I've kind of gravitated towards swing trading with options. And I'm a big fan of Elliott. Big fan. And Elliott and Fib go together quite well. And, it's something just to get a good read on, what the price patterns are suggesting the underlying positioning the market is, what the sentiment driving the underlying. And if we just start, I was kind of mentioning Apple's underperformance. Let me just do this real quick. Let me throw the Qs over Apple. And you'll see that, as you guys know, it's been underperforming quite a bit. But then all of a sudden, his earnings just kind of did a lot of catch up. So if I just do my best horseshoes and hand grenades overlay, you can see NASDAQ in orange and Apple in the white. The big drop here in Apple was never really challenged compared to the QQQ high. But then all of a sudden, the earnings just kind of reinserted it back as a NASDAQ leader. So I'm a little bit scratching my head here. But as I said, I think you got to buy pullbacks here on Apple.
Okay. All right. Why don't you throw another chart up there? Let's find something a little bit more. How about Amazon here?
Sure.
Yep. Let's take your analysis on that.
Okay.
What a while. I mean, we're almost 100 points off that all-time high that was made in the 1,000 handle at 1083 here. Now, I mean, if you're looking at this thing, looking for a pullback, tell us a couple things that you're looking at in Amazon.
Sure. And this is the theme I'm kind of seeing in tech, and this is the way I'm trading, doing a lot of these option flies. So kind of selling puts in the middle and then buying one above and one below, kind of taking advantage of these ranges. And I think this is the theme that we're falling into now that we're, well into earnings. And we've had a lot of the big ones, tech report. I think we're falling into a fourth wave range, and wave fours tend to be kind of longer and choppy and a lot of false breaks to the top side, false breaks to the downside. And a fourth wave, of course, will pair up with a second wave, which is either down here or here. These guys are pretty straight and to the point. So I think Amazon is going to go into this kind of sideways period. I wouldn't be trying, if you're an underlying stock trader, I wouldn't be trying to buy breakouts or sell breakdowns. I think you got to kind of go sideways here. And this is consistent. And the same thing, if you don't mind, take a look at Google. Google's also in this kind of sideways triangle. A lot of times, fourth waves, which is this blue wave 4, you get your classic technical lower high, higher low triangle. And I think that's what's happening too. I've got option flies on in Google, just hoping it does nothing just through the rest of the summer. So unfortunately, I think we might see a boring market for the rest of the year. The rest of the summer, I should say.
What time frame do you have up there?
That's just a daily right there.
Okay, so like during the day, do you go shorter term, or do you try and, I mean, if you're having option positions on, you're keeping on over the summer, do you go to a shorter term chart? I try not to go any shorter than a 15-minute chart. Because these 1 minute tick charts make me nervous when they're bouncing around like that. So tell us about the shorter time frame charts you use.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I started out, as I said, day trading when I was like 22 out of college, and we live on 1 and 5 minute charts. And I was like, man, I just don't want to make my living on these charts. You're going to go insane. So I'm the same way. When I'm swing trading, I don't look at less than a 15-minute, but that's a good conversation we should have, which is, I don't think, and you guys are traders, you know what's going on. I don't think you should get married to a time frame, because I think the time frame you trade is a function of volatility and range. And when volatility is very low and stocks are at all-time highs, your average high to low range and a bar is very low. So you're going to find yourself gravitating towards a higher time frame. But when vol expands and range expand, and you know how much you're prepared to risk on a trade, don't fight yourself going to smaller time frames. So if you usually swing trade a 2-hour, vol expands, don't be afraid to get down to a 30-minute, because you're going to see the same percent movement in the same amount of time, but on a much smaller time frame chart. So just something to keep in mind.
Hey Todd, I see you got Thinkorswim up on there right now. What other software do you use for trading?
So I use software called Motive Wave, which is for Elliott Wave. And then I trade a lot on Thinkorswim here, and that's pretty much it. I'll trade. I do the CNBC show, Trading Nation. So I trade live on Schwab, which is a sponsor of our show. So I trade live on CNBC, which is kind of fun. But those are mostly my platforms. And then to answer the question too, like, do I look at the intraday charts? Yeah, I keep this guy up, just kind of an old habit. So like a 5-minute, just look at the S&P, the NAS, the RUT. Thinkorswim took away RUT futures, but I think they're going to rejoin as they go from the ice.
I just wanted to ask you the one thing going back for the day, because I like to use the average daily range. I like to use the 9-day average range. So,
okay,
when you're looking at something, I mean, you can have, expectations. And the other thing I kind of like about it is, if let's just a 9-day average range in the stock is like $1, and then it's 0.95, and then 0.9, 0.8, and it and that usually, has points to a consolidation area. And that's what we have in the S&Ps right now. 12 straight closes in the S&Ps within a 6-point range. So how do you incorporate? Do you use that for targets, or do you go a little longer out and look like the weekly range on something? How do you use the average ranges for targets?
It's a good, ATR is good. And that's what you're using, right? So you're using the ATR, average true range. Yeah. I love it. I love anything that tells you the range and the volatility. It's essentially a vol indicator. And I kind of call it the cheap man's, the poor man's implied volatility. If you were to lay the VIX on top of ATR, specifically in the indexes, it's the same indicator. Essentially, volatility is range expansion.
Yep.
So it's certainly very low. But again, I'm an Elliott guy, and I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes. They're like, oh my God, it's too subjective. But trading is subjective, as is life. It's a big if-then statement. You got to lay out multiple scenarios. So the fact that we are in a triangle, as we looked at here, even down on the 15-minute, you said we don't go much smaller than that. I know ranges are tight because we have not moved. But I'll tell you what, from an Elliott point of view, you need a 5-point triangle. We've been in consolidation since that July 27th drop. I kind of have us as completing this soon. So I am looking for one more push up. And I'll tell you what, guys, through all this crazy esoteric Elliott Wave work that I do, 2,500 to 2,550, I'm going to try to take a pretty long-term shot at being short. And if I'm wrong, so be it. But if I get rid of all this stuff, here's the 5-wave move. As you guys know, good Elliott Wave is rooted in Dow theory, right? Charles Dow, grandfather of technical analysis. He gave us, three phases of a market trend. Number one is accumulation. The second trend wave, which is wave 3, is widespread participation, fundamentals improve, etc. Then you're going to get the wave 4 as the market sets back. And then we do one more push, which is called distribution, which the people who bought in wave 1 and wave 3 are selling, unfortunately, to the late coming long. So I think we're coming up into the end of this 3. I'm going to lean against this area, and I don't think we're going to crash, but I do think we'll have a good couple 100-point move down into the end of the year. So again, I'm going to risk probably 50, 75 S&P points to hopefully make 200. So that's really my focus. I don't know what catalyst it's going to be. This is purely technical, and I'm hoping, we get this nice push up, this nice euphoric push up to 2,500, and I'm going to be a seller.
Ace is asking here about point and figure charts. I never really understood them. He wants to know.
Me either, brother. I'm glad you said it because I don't either.
All right. So there we answered the question. One more before we let you go. Coca-Cola. Jar has been in here asking about it. We all know about the dividend here in Coca-Cola. Could you just do on the fly analysis for Coca-Cola?
Sure. I think the dividend payers are going to come back here. I think well, we'll see. That was a pretty good move. Equities didn't move post NFP, but bonds had a pretty good move down. And I'm a little nervous on this bond push. Bonds have the possibility to really break down and send rates higher. If bonds do break support, I think about 122, 123 in TLT, those dividend payers are going to have a hard time, specifically Coke. But if bonds can stay somewhat supported here, just a quick little analysis. I get a big wave 2 here, big wave 4 here, maybe one more little push up. Just doing some quick fib. Where's my clustering? So you had a pretty good cluster, 47 to 50, provided 44 hold support. And again, if you can get that bond market to hold support, that'd be great.
Do you got a pick for the Travers Stakes yet?
I was going to ask you. No, and I'm actually heading up this weekend for. Are you following the not the Jim Dandy, but the Whitney? Do you know what? Do you have any?
I did not handicap that one yet. Okay. No, I didn't. But man, I know you invited me out there for that, and my nephew has to have his bar mitzvah that weekend. So, I'm there next year. Sure, I'm coming to the Travers, and I'm going to taste some of that fine whiskey. Too. But,
I appreciate it. Next time I see you guys, I got some Upstate Distillery presents for you. So,
man. Todd Gordon, CNBC contributor and founder of Trading Analysis. Great, clear analysis, Todd. Thank you very much. We'll speak to you again soon.
All right, guys. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
All right. Are we bringing Dennis back in?
I'm here. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Dennis, do you want to finish your story?
This is just the way my last 2 days have gone. When you have the run of bad luck, you have the run of bad luck. And I'm not even going to talk about my kid throwing up with no change of outfit story from a Tim Hortons donut. That's the Coles notes of that one. But look, okay, so I start with the day. Well, obviously, my kid puking with the donut and then having to bring him daycare without a change of outfit. But anyway, so that's how my day started. But here I am, 8:24, talking with you guys. Just going to tell the Tim Hortons story, and power goes out. Boom. Okay, at my place, power goes out. Power comes right back. I have 3 computers. 2 of them load up fine. The one that doesn't, my trading computer. I've been up at my cottage. I'm back at my house. Haven't restarted the computer for a while. Microsoft says, oh, let's take this nice opportunity to restart your computer for you right now and install your updates. I literally, 20 minutes later, I just got back up. So forget about trading the jobs number because Microsoft wanted to do updates on my computer. I actually have it set that it's not supposed to do updates between 8 and 8, or 8 and 7 or whatever. But I guess it just said, well, because power went out, that's a different story. So anyways, it just took 20 minutes and did updates. I'm finally back up. Thank you very much, Microsoft, for costing me the opportunity to trade a jobs number, which looks like we actually had some movement because the financials are flying here on this jobs number and the TLT is getting killed. So I'm assuming the number was pretty.
It was good. Yes, yeah. It was good. It was very good.
Yep.
Give me the number so I know because I've been off the grid.
To non-farm 209,000 versus 183 estimate. Private 205,000 versus 178 estimate. And unemployment was 4.3, which was the estimate.
So financials absolutely flying on this. Wish I would have been able to trade it, but again, I'll thank Microsoft for that. Bank of America up 1.5% here, 1.1%. Goldman Sachs trading up almost 1%. JP Morgan up almost 1%. Citi up almost 1%. Your financials are hot on this, no doubt about it. Gold taking a hit on this number, so gold stock's probably going to be weak. And then also, and they're still popping up Windows updates at me. I had to click that one off. And obviously your TLT down significantly. So anything that trades like a bond, going to get hit here today. So that's what I'm seeing just on my initial, and I've only been up here for 5 minutes because of Microsoft. So from what I can see here, just since I reloaded my software, that's what I'm seeing really move here.
All right. Let's look at the financials and just look at a couple levels. I'll just go through a few of these stocks. Your pre-market high in Bank of America is 24.68. Now, if you get up to 25, you just got to recognize that there was a lot of size there for a long time. And you had 3-4 highs up in that area. Also had a high back there in March. So 25, that's the number for potential resistance in Bank of America. Goldman Sachs has just been doing this I don't want to say all 220 to 230, but it's absolutely, I mean, this thing is not going to have another leg higher until you clear that 230, only trading up near the 226 level. JP Morgan has quite a while to go, quite a ways to go to the all-time high. That's 94.51, but that's trading up in the pre-market as well. So interest rates going back up again, Dennis.
Potentially. That's what we're looking at here this morning. At least the financials, they're thinking so. So this jobs number actually had movement.
Yeah,
Wish I could have traded it. You can tell I'm in a good mood here now.
I mean, the stocks, the SPOOs didn't move a ton, but I guess you were looking at all the individuals. 115, that's your last print in GWPH. Dennis, you got any kind of target on this one? You're going to wait for the open?
I'll probably just, like my target would be the settlement at 110.95, but it was a positive commentary, said that the market is trading up. So I don't know. Obviously I shorted last night 117.5. I'm looking at 115 offer. I'd like it to come in more, but we'll see what happens. I'll probably trade it. I'll probably trade out of it near the open though.
Okay, a little more liquidity then. So I don't think we've got to the ratings yet. Did we finish?
Yeah, there was some other. I don't know what you covered when in the 20 minutes that Microsoft hijacked my computer. So, did you get into the Activision numbers?
We did not.
Did you get into the Yelp numbers?
We got into Yelp. We did not get into ATVI. I was actually going to bring ATVI up next. So let's do that. Q2 adjusted EPS for ATVI, 43 cents versus a 30-cent estimate, and adjusted sales of 1.4 versus 1.22 billion dollars. So a good Q2 there for the video game maker.
And the stock is actually trading down on these numbers. So here's another one of those stories where a stock simply too hot going into the number. And I mean, it was an all-time high. I'm just going into my charts here. Yeah, it's an all-time high yesterday where it closed up there just under or $64 at $63.97. And expectations way too high. I mean, really in the last 3 months, we've been up from 48 to 64. So all of it priced in. Needed to blow it away, absolutely blow it away to go higher. Sounds like they did do pretty good. Still not enough. So that goes to show you got to look at that chart before playing the earnings.
Yeah, nice run up ahead of it. Did hit all-time high yesterday at 64.06. All-time closing high, 63.97. Trading down $1.22. Look out below yesterday's low. We're still $1 below that, 61.76. Got a little bit below it in the pre-market, but after that, you have a 60.43 low. Coming back on the upside. Let's see. It gets back up. Maybe there's a seller at the $64 area as it was 64.06 high, 63.97 all-time closing high.
This morning, we had a couple of health insurers report here. CI being one, the other WCG. WCG going down, CI going up. Quick, Spencer, what are those numbers?
CI Q2 adjusted EPS, $2.91 versus $2.48. Sales of $10.3 billion versus $10.27. So good EPS and a good sales number. They're also raising their guidance for the fiscal year.
And we've got the stock CI trading up a couple of bucks on this number. It had been running into it too, though. So decent number. 180 is what I'm going to say is a big number for that. WCG that's kind of following Molina Healthcare. It's more related to that. MOH we know got killed there yesterday. Did bounce back. WCG trading down 4 points on their number.
Well, WCG, $2.52 versus $2.24. So good EPS.
Still a good number.
Yeah, well, good EPS. Sales was good, I guess not great, 4.26 billion versus 4.23 billion. And they're also, though, raising their fiscal year outlook.
So surprised that it's actually, and it hadn't really run up, but it's still trading down 180. It did just print down 178.5. It's now 180 bid there. So, it's not down significantly here and still in the price discovery phase because 2,400 of the 44,000 shares of trade today just crossed down at 178.50. It's already 180 bid here. And it looks like that's might be an iceberg because it just got hit and didn't move. So looks like there are some buyers starting to form already.
All right. Just for the CI, really, real quickly, I'm going to go to the dailies here. Just really hard to find resistance here. You had multiple highs just above 175. You broke out of that yesterday. So, maybe just keep an eye on that area, let it float up. Well, we did trade up in a pre-market on light volume to 82.90. Dennis mentioned the whole and half numbers here. So really easier to find support in this thing. Absolutely no resistance as it's making an all-time high. WCG not being rewarded for its report. still kind of a long consolidation period. Dennis is talking about the $180 level, just hanging there, 178.50. It's the pre-market low. And let's see if your dailies, what I like to see, if I see a low in the pre-market, I like to see if the dailies confirm that. And it does, because yesterday's low was at 78.74. So there's your support in WCG.
Ratings land here, and there's a few interesting ones. Ford getting downgraded at Nomura, not trading down much here. I mean, everybody's had the hate on for Ford, so it doesn't even really respond to analyst action there. Quick technicals, though, here on Ford.
Big resistance up where I won the bet at the 11.
You're gonna always say you want to buy like a nickel.
Yeah. 1067, Dennis. That is the low of the move, down a penny, not really reacting to this. It just seems to really thicken up here in the 10 handle. So you could find some intermediate lows ahead of that. The close was 1093. Probably let's see if the sellers start to gang up at 11. For right now, you have a pair of highs. Not quite 1102, 1105. So boy, oh boy, resistance building at the $11 level, keeping an eye. 1067, that's been the recent low of the move.
Spencer, there was a lot of little ones. Quick, give us just a rundown on what you see there on the ratings land here from the Benzinga Pro. Give us a few main ones there.
Oh geez, there's so many today. So we obviously it's earnings. We get a lot of ratings coming after the fact.
Analysts chasing price.
So. Right? I'm seeing that on ATVI, on GoPro, on Kellogg's, etc. Square, same thing. But IBM initiated today at neutral from Wedbush. Thought that was interesting. Hertz. Called the Hertz and Car actually. Car was upgraded or initiated at a buy or overweight at JP Morgan. They also initiated Hertz at a neutral. So Car is over, Avis is overweight, Hertz is neutral at JP Morgan. Teva, of course, the follow through from yesterday, getting downgraded everywhere today. Like how many downgrades did Teva get? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 4 different downgrades from Teva this morning. Credit Suisse,
chasing price all over the place.
Cowen, Credit Suisse, and Ford one, the downgrade there from Nomura. Honestly, it's all just analysts chasing price, really. Yeah.
Dennis,
nothing really new besides the Ford one.
Did you have the gumption to take home the Teva short?
No, I didn't even put it on. I was never short test.
Oh, no,
I
thought
I wish I would have been short it.
No, I'm just thinking that you might see the downgrades.
Sometimes I do that. That the stock closes weak, and that the follow through downgrades are going to come, and you see follow through weakness the next day. The 2-day move off of the analysts chasing price, the ACP strategy. I wish I would have, because he'd be up 3% here this morning. That'd been a good call. Why didn't you tell me that 345 yesterday? I would have thought, I totally forgot about it.
23.33. That was the low of the move from yesterday. 23.75. That's your mark. So underwater, your resistance is going to be at the close. And I was digging up some numbers in this one. I mean, what the heck? 22.82. If you've been holding on for a 22.82 fill on the buy side since November of 2004. Boom, watch out. I just wanted to mention, though, I mean, who knows what kind of follow through you're going to get off these downgrades, but just watching when stocks go through whole numbers, Dennis, because they can turn around in a hurry. And that's exactly what your favorite stock did. Snap. Finally, 4 all-time.
Snapback.
Yeah, snapback. We've used that one before. 4 consecutive days of all-time lows, and 9 out of 10 sessions have made all-time lows. Everyone got caught. I went under $12 and turned around. You can look at this at the daily. Some massive short covering here. Got some trading up to 1340. I don't know about that, but just keep an eye on the 13 handle. See if any of these people that did bottom fishing down at under $12 are looking to take some profits here. But that was a wicked move in Snap. We'll see if Teva can do the same thing.
Jumping over here to. And I actually had a couple other ratings I was going to talk about, but I'm going to go back over to the earnings parade here because there's a couple other littler ones. And Kraft Heinz reported last night, KHC. I like trading my food stocks. I know they're kind of boring, but they're often predictable because they're boring. But did you see Kraft Heinz? Did you see the move in Kellogg yesterday though? So no. Kellogg reported and it was trading up, but holy cow, Joel! that blasted off in orbit, went through 69, 70. So, you've got Mondelez, which reported good numbers and gave it back. Kellogg's went the opposite way, reported good numbers and kept going. I don't know what Kraft Heinz is going to do here. KHC is trading up 75 cents. What were the results there, Spencer?
98 cents versus 85 cents in the same quarter last year. Sales of 6.67 billion versus 6.79 year over year. So they're raising, or they're increasing on the EPS, and they're missing on the sales year over year. They're also increasing their dividend from 60 cents to 62.5 cents per share.
Let's take a look at the charts in KHC. I'm just looking at 88 here. We're trading at 87.50. That's up 99 cents. But just go to your dailies here, and you could see that you had three highs right at the 88 even level, 87.99 to 88.22. So we'll see if we could clear that. If there is clear skies up to 90.38. That was your high on July 26th. I just want to mention one thing about the Kellogg here. And, we talk about that opening print, and it did have earnings on it. But look at that. You had three highs right at the $68 level. Opened up 68.10, let you fill the gap below the previous day high, 67.81, 70.93 high. If the rally continues here, it's just traded up to 70.82. Another target, if you're long this issue, 71.36. That was your June 26 high. All right, Dennis. So you got your power back. You got your Windows update.
I'm back. I've got it back. I actually started downloading my trading software on my second computer, so I don't run into that problem again. I guess I should always have it loaded up and on a second computer. I never lose power here, though. I never really have an issue, but these Windows updates are annoying, so it'd be good to have on another computer. So, yeah, hopefully the day continues to go better than it started here. So, it's been a long day already. It started 2.5 hours ago, and hopefully it gets better.
All right, Dennis.
All right, Dennis, we're going to let you go here, and we're going to stay on till 9:10 here. We didn't get to cover a lot of issues in the chat here, so let's get some issues here coming in. Texas Linda, I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, but you're looking at shares of Yelp. And what we're going to do here is we are going to go a little bit of a shorter time frame here, and we are going to take a look at and I want to get the pre-market action in here too. So just let me do one quick adjustment here. Regular session, and this is TradeStation.
Yeah, we're switching now over to TradeStation from the Thinkorswim, and a little bit of a different charts if you're not used to that.
Okay. All right. And the issue we were looking at was Yelp. And I'll tell you, this chart just makes absolutely no sense to me. The dailies, we could switch the dailies here in a second. Your pre-market high is 38.69, currently trading at 38.45. So what I like to do is go to the dailies and see what's up here at this area. And you can see that high just above 38 at 38.42. So that's really an important area. If you get into this gap area, you're looking for a gap fill, folks, all the way up to 40.76. But charts like this that gap down, gapping all over the place are just not my cup of tea. Downward dog, are you still trying to buy the GE here? I don't mind this pattern here in GE. Several lows just under the 25.5 area, trading at 25.85. Never could get to 25. I was looking for that kind of a whole number, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lows in a really defined area here. So I like this one. I don't mind this one at all. Downward dog. Of course, you want to clear $26. That was a high on earnings day when that issue just got slaughtered. Only lost. I don't know if that was an earnings day, but it had to follow through. But important to clear 26. Always like to look at the pre-market action here, and let's go to the 15-minute chart. Spiking up there a few times, so 26 target on the upside, but I have a feeling downward dog is hanging out for a little more on that on a swing trade.
Cajun Juan wants to know about FireEye. Got the pop on the earnings, I think it was Wednesday, and then gave it all back.
This $16 area, I just can't tell you how much emphasis I've been putting on this thing. And just from your daily charts here, I hope you guys can see that. See if I can make it a little bit bigger. When you see a stock, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, 9, 10 highs, sneaks into the 16 handle, but never closes there. And in fact, few of the days when it got over 16, it really performed very, very poorly. That's the 2-day high. Someone stepped up to 1596. Don't mind this area. I mean, if it can hold in here, 1420 was the low from yesterday, trading up 8 cents in the pre-market. A couple other lows right in that area. The problem is if this area doesn't hold, you got about another buck drop. I'm not sure if that popped up on earnings, 1362, and you got a gap fill. So let's call it 14 and a quarter, your parameters here in boom, fire high. Diana Dawn, man, I hope you were selling your Redfin yesterday. Here's a new stock for you, and we'll go to the 15-minute chart. It had an IPO. It priced above its IPO price. I think it was like $20. And then it went straight up for 4 straight days. And I saw the headline on it that, housing prices were up or something. Basically, this is a company that online real estate. Now, I already thought there was Zillow, so I'm not sure what the difference is. But I got the level that I'm looking at in this one. The daily chart is not going to look real pretty on this one because you don't have much data. But let's see if I can stretch it out for you. Here you go. Really terrible looking chart. But anyways, figure your 50% retracement on this one after the big move. And I think that comes in at the 2650 area. So see if you can find some support. Big reversal in that yesterday. And here we go. Moving on here. See if we can get any more issues.
Well, Terry Kern wants to know what the white dots represent on the trade station.
What the white dots on the.
So if you get rid of the.
And on the 15-minute chart. These white. Do you see any white dots here?
No, it could have been on a previous chart. Maybe it was a daily chart. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean there, Terry Kern. But let's get thoughts on Chipotle, CMG. We're just sort of hanging out here, Joel. Just kind of hanging out after that big move.
Oh, you know what? But it hasn't made a new low of the move, so that's pretty impressive. Of course, with this one, you always have headline risk. Made the low of the move at 336.52, but buyers have been stepping up. Decent earnings report, stepped up to 340, now 345. I mean, if you're trying to buy it, down here on weakness on a swing trade, you definitely need to be out a new low of the move. But if you're looking for continued upside, 58.58, that was your high on July 21st. And then you had another high on earnings day at 57.99. So really nice clean break above 358. And you could get some of this ground back, but nice consolidation phase here in CMG after the big decline.
Someone mentioning Google in the chat, big topic of conversation the other day. We had Gene Munster in the office. He's a big believer in Google as far as being a pioneer in the AI space and bringing AI to the masses. What does the Google chart show you, Joel?
We came off hard off that all-time high, and actually that was a failure there. You had a 986.20 high on July 24th. Couple other highs at 985, 986. That's your major resistance. I don't know. This thing kind of seems like it has $900 on the mind. We'll see if if strong market, it certainly won't get there. But trio of lows from 895 to 900. See if you can get that whole number there. Unfortunately, after that, there's a big gap to fill under 880. And for a big stock, you got a double top on the upside, 932.24 and 932.60.
Terry Kern asking about the white dots on the GE chart. He thinks it was. And while you pull that up, I'm not even sure if there are any. But while you pull that up, I want to hop into the Benzinger Pro because I did see that via B now spiking up to a high of $32.33 on high volume. So we were talking about that earlier and the divergence between via B and via Viacom, the different share classes there. Do you see any white dots there, Joel, on the GE chart?
It's just like when there's not, this is the pre-market trading and after hours trading. So when there's nothing going on, it kind of does this. And when it shuts down, in between. But let's take a look at VIAB, getting a little bit of a lift here off that pre-market low. So maybe the washout is on the rebound, trading at the highs since it made that low 3250 area. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Josh sees, the white lines here, those are just marking the days. You can see 8-2. This is an entire 15-minute chart. I see what you're saying. This is 8-2 at Viacom B. Here, I'll pull it up in GE. These just mark, the different trading sessions, and I like to mark them from the fourth. This is basically showing your 4 o'clock open here when stocks reopen, and then all the way until they close at 8 p.m. So that's what I like to incorporate. And maybe next week, I do have some indicators that coincide with the daily highs and lows. Maybe we'll throw them up on TradeStation next week. Spencer, what's on the docket for next week?
We got a lot going on next week, a full slate of guests. The earnings will continue to roll through, but we're going to be joined. Nick Shaheen is back from his vacation. We're also going to be joined by Craig Johnson. He's a technical trader. Tim Melvin, maybe our go-to small bank analyst. Mark Chaikin is going to give us some of his stocks he's watching. He made a great call on Starbucks right before earnings last time. So a good slate of guests for you on the docket. And we may even, I'm teasing it, I'm not guaranteeing it, but we may potentially have an Herbalife debate on the show. We got a bull and a bear, still trying to line up an exact date, but that will be happening. So keep an ear out for that. Joel, you had one more thing you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize the importance of this consolidation period that we've had. I mentioned all the closes, and I just want to mention all these pesky highs here. You read them from the last 4 sessions, 75, 77 a quarter, 76, 74, 50, 77, even at your high of the day. We backed off a little bit. So, man, we got to clear these 24, 80, 50. That's your all-time high. I just like to see us take that out and close above there. And then you have that multiple close area, as I mentioned, that's acting as support. The low of that range is 68 even. I talked about the 12 consecutive closes. Well, 68 even marked the low of that range. Today, your pre-market low is 67.75. No down through until that area is taken out.
All right. That is our show for the day, and that's it for the week. So hope you enjoy our show today and hope you got something out of it. If you want to listen to it again, you can do so on our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Just search for Benzinga or Pre-Market, or catch the live show, or catch the replay of the show as it aired live on YouTube, youtube.com/Benzinga TV, and subscribe to that to get alerted whenever we go live every morning. So that's it for us. Don't forget, last thing I want to mention, the Benzinga FinTech Summit. It's our event coming up in September in San Francisco. To learn more, go to bzsummit.com. You should definitely let us know if you're going to be in the area. Come on down, talk about FinTech, AI, lending. A lot of big names will be there. Kevin O'Leary, the CEO of Prosper. So we got some good guests for you at the Benzinga FinTech Summit. Have a good rest of your day, folks. Good luck out there. We'll be back with you on Monday.